Hey everybody, we thank you. Want to welcome you. Thank you for tuning in to Dave and Joe Liberty Stand here. I'm gonna pass it to my brother Dave here to start us off.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to, we got a kind of a, I don't know if you call it a tribute show or what you want to call it, but I kind of want to tell you a story. I want to start with a story. Um, I've told you many a time, and Joe has too, about how we met. We lived, we worked close to each other and all that stuff, and he'd come out, and, when I was out smoking cigarettes, he'd go be, back and forth to his car, and we'd say hey and all that stuff. And after a while, we got to be, we got to know each other, be pretty good friends, and after a while, he got to, we did lunch, and he came over a time or two. Man, we get in some fun talks, and we were like, man, we should do these videos. We should do a show. And we were talking about it a lot. I mean, the more we talked about it, the more we got serious about it. And a year ago, this is July 5th, right?
Mm-hmm. Of 2016.
Yeah. And a year ago, last May, a year ago from this past May, it was almost about to happen, and my two uncles, Uncle Tom and Dick, were they're veterans, and they went on an honor flight with my cousin Penny. She was like their escort. I don't know what you call, but a younger person from the family that goes with them.
The help or whatever.
And her brother is my cousin Pat, who you've heard us talk about him from the beginning, and here's why. Because I was at that, we were waiting for those guys to come home on the honor flight at Purdue University Airport, and now Pat, okay, again, I'm sorry, I'm sorry if this is kind of scattered and stuff, but I want to get this all right. Pat was 54 years old. I'm 48. That's not a huge difference in age now, but when I was a kid, it was. And when you're cousins growing up, or at least in my family, you all know each other, and you see each other, and you say hi, and you hang out. Hey, how's it going? Nah, nah, nah. But you're in your own age group. I mean, we had a lot of cousins. We had many cousins. We were like the Waltons on steroids, okay? I mean, on Viagra. So, I mean, we got a lot of cousins. And so I knew him, and plus he was way smarter than me. And he was interested in other things. But that time at the airport, when we got to talking, and I talked to him before. He liked photography, and at family get-togethers, he'd be outside while everybody else was still inside eating or whatever. I'd go out and help him set up once in a while or something like that, just to say hey, because I didn't see him very often. And but at this time, while we're waiting for the plane to come in, I'm telling him, man, I know this guy Joe. We're starting to be pretty good friends, and we're thinking about doing this show together. And I went on YouTube, and I started watching YouTube videos about how to make your own YouTube videos. And he thought that was great, and he thought that was. And I told him about some of the stuff I found out, and he said, "Yeah, that's exactly right." And he goes, "Man," and he was really interested. I mean, this is the first time in our lives we really kind of had a connection, had something going on there where we were interested in the same thing. And he's like, "Man, let me know. Here's what da 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 da." I was like, "Man, I mean, we didn't even have each other's numbers. We'd have to, if I ever wanted to get a hold of him, I'd have to call another aunt or uncle and call him." But we did. We exchanged numbers, and here's the funny thing. Oh gosh, this is going to go on for an hour and a half. Let me run down here. Let me run down the facts real quick, because before I go into the story portion anymore. Anyway, Pat was 54, His mom and dad was my Uncle Paul and my Aunt Becky. My Aunt Becky died some years ago. She had cancer as well. And his brother is Perry, who was younger. He's like a year and a half older than me, I think. And then his sister Penny.
So Pat, Perry, and Penny.
You know what? People do that. I've noticed that in families.
Yeah, we talked about doing that with our kids.
And anyway, Pat had a master's degree. Okay, he had a master's degree. The guy was smart. He was an Eagle Scout, and not only was he an Eagle Scout, but he was a Master of Troop 302 at Oakland for several years, and he loved photography. And if that was all stupid or sounded bad, that's because I was reading. I'm terrible at that, but he was very smart, and he loved photography. You know, he loved it. To this day, I don't know one thing he would do at work, except for watch our show and then call to tell us how.
Not at work.
No, at work. That he doesn't have your Wi-Fi at home.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So I know he had.
Security.
It was security. It was IT security specialist at Purdue. I don't know what that means. He never talked about that. He talked about the scouting stuff and the trips they would take and the photography stuff he was doing and the things he would do like that. And that was so much fun. And I never got to know him as much as I did in this past year and however many weeks. And I'm so grateful for that, but I'm also mad because, just when I got to know him, he's gone now.
But the show sounds like the show kind of got you and him talking
this show is what did it. This show is what did it. I mean, that's how we got to know each other.
Okay. But didn't you say he kind of encouraged you with the show a little bit, or is that?
No, he encouraged me weekly about the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, before it started, though. I mean, I thought you guys said
our lighting we have. And by the way, that's not this terrible thing on Joe right now. That's from my window.
Yeah, I can go fix that if you wanna. Me too.
Go ahead.
You keep going. Okay.
Towels. Hey, Joe. Towels.
I'll try to move these. Go ahead. Keep going.
You can't. I've tried it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Go ahead. Don't.
Anyway, it was so much fun just getting to know him as a friend in a way I never have before. And I felt that, what was fun is we would usually call each other every week. I only talk to people on the phones on the weekends. And I don't do it during the week unless it's an emergency or it's going to be damn quick. And he got to know that pretty quick. And he was very good about that. And if we'd miss a week, one of us would call the other one. Hey, I'm sorry, about last week. Da 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 da. Oh yeah, well, and I'd say, hey, well, we just wrapped up some more shows, so you can give us some more, tell us how we screwed that up, after that, and
he was. I mean, I think from what you've told me too, he was more of a technical about the show sometimes.
Right.
He talked about.
We would talk for hours on the phone. Now he would tell. Now I'm not saying we talked about the show all the time. I mean, we did mainly, but he loved to talk about his photography escapades and stuff and all that. He loved that. He loved that. There's no emphasis on loved his photography.
Well,
stuff.
yeah, I remember when we met him about the lighting. I mean, we were there for an hour probably.
We were
Was it
there
longer?
for 3 hours of him showing us how to do
Yeah.
lighting different ways.
Right.
And he gave us the lighting that we have now. And shoot, I was about to.
Sorry.
No, that was me. I made myself lose my own train. But the thing about he also told me about things I didn't know. Well, about himself and other members of the family. You talk to you in private, and it won't cost you a lot of money if you want to know what it was. It was very interesting. And I'm serious. Not about the money.
Well, I
but about
think
it
some
being
things
very-
I knew. I mean, the very first time I met him, I think it was we went to Arnie's, and we talked about the show. We talked about, I think we were talking about because the lighting he was going to let give us, and then the other thing.
vocals,
Oh yeah, the sound. The
yeah,
sound. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
but
was,
he was very
he was technical. Here's the thing.
technical.
I mean, we would talk. I would have 2 or 3 hour long conversations with Pat on any given weekend on the phone with him about everything, about stuff I didn't know about cousins that were older than me.
Because the show actually brought you two together
right,
closer. didn't
right.
it?
I mean, it wasn't just about the
Commonality.
show,
Right.
but a lot of
right.
it was, but
That
then
was
it
kind of the
just-
start.
It was the
kickoff,
catalyst
maybe.
of that, but I would say, but he would always talk about, well, you got to speak up when you do this. You guys got to monitor each other. You guys got to do this. And
Time limit too. I
And,
think was something he talked
time
about.
limit,
right?
but we're not doing that right now. If you hadn't noticed, because we'll do this as long as it takes. So I'm sorry, Pat, but we got to tell the story. But he would say, or I would say to him, there would be certain times I was kind of frustrated with him. I'd say, Pat, you're always telling me about the lighting and the leaning up or sitting up straight or getting close, the sign, you couldn't see the sign, it was cut off.
The technical
stuff. What do you think about what we're saying?
Content,
The
yeah.
content of the show. And he would say, well, that's not really my area. I don't really know or care about that. He said, so how in the hell can you watch 10
Hours.
10
No, I'm
shows,
kidding. Yeah, 10
minutes each, roughly. Well, longer than that, really. And not care about the substance of the show. I'm always looking. I'm always watching. And when I was at the hospital, I told you this earlier, but I got to tell it, because we're recording now, and I got to share it with you guys. I was at the hospital. I only got to see him a couple times, and the first time I went, and he was looking pretty rough, and I said, buddy, Joe and I have done a couple shows. A couple shows means a couple sit downs because we do like 7 to 10 shows, every time. So we've recorded a couple times now, and I said it's so weird because I don't get your weekly phone call to tell me how we messed up or how to do better or good job. I mean, good job. I'm not saying he never said good job. He did that a lot, and I always appreciated that. And I said, I miss that. I don't even know what to do with that. He said, well, I bet you just miss the numbers on your views more, right? And I said, okay, yes, I do, but I still miss that. And then the last time I went back, I made another comment about that, and I told I said, man, it's just not the same. I don't know. I said, Joe and I got to keep telling hey, speak up or straighten up or whatever while we're doing the show. And he said, well, you guys need to do that.
And that happened to be a couple days before he passed away.
He passed away on Tuesday of
That was
last week, and I was there on Sunday.
So that was a blessing that you
Well,
were
I-
able to go over there.
I'm grateful I got to know him in the last year or so the way I did. But I'm really pissed that he's gone. So we got to go.
Wrap it.
We'll wrap it. We'll go.
All right.
Shut it off.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. God bless you.